Pancakes. The very word conjures images of lazy weekend mornings, the comforting sizzle of batter hitting a hot pan, and the sweet aroma of maple syrup filling the kitchen. But let's be honest, many homemade pancakes fall flat, literally. They end up dense, rubbery, tragically thin. We've all been there, staring down at a plate of breakfast sadness, wondering where we went wrong. The culprit is often overmixing, a crime against gluten that turns what should be a fluffy cloud into a tough, chewy disc. Today, we're going to fix that, and we're going to do it without any fancy counter-cluttering machinery. The secret to truly transcendent pancakes doesn't lie in a whirring motor or a planetary mixer. No, it lies in chemistry, technique, and a little bit of patience. We're on a quest for fluffiness, for a tender crumb, for golden brown perfection. This is not just a recipe, it's a mission. Let the mission begin. Before we can build our perfect pancake, we must first assemble our arsenal. A successful mission depends on having the right supplies. That means quality ingredients and simple, effective tools. There are no exotic items on this list. Just pantry staples that, when combined with proper technique, will produce extraordinary results. Precision is key. Use a kitchen scale for your dry ingredients. If you don't have one, the fluff, scoop, and level method will suffice. But for true consistency, weight is the only way to go. First, let's gather our dry ingredients. The structural foundation of our pancakes. 2 cups, or 250 grams, of all-purpose flour. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. These 5 ingredients form our dry team, and they must be thoroughly combined. Now for the wet team. Ingredients that provide moisture, fat, and tenderness. 2 large eggs, ideally at room temperature. 2 cups, or 480 milliliters, of buttermilk. The acidity in buttermilk reacts with baking soda to create carbon dioxide bubbles, which equals fluffiness. In a pinch, add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice or white vinegar to regular milk and let it sit for 10 minutes. 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, melted and cooled slightly. Your tools, or hardware, are refreshingly simple. No mixer is allowed on this mission. 2 mixing bowls, 1 large, 1 medium. A whisk is essential. A flexible silicone spatula for gentle folding. A non-stick skillet or well-seasoned cast iron griddle. A thin, wide fish spatula. Finally, a ladle or a 1/4 cup measuring cup. The first phase of our operation focuses on the dry ingredients. This step might seem trivial, a simple matter of dumping powders into a bowl, but it is fundamentally important. Proper and thorough combination at this stage ensures that our leavening agents, salt and sugar, are evenly distributed throughout the flour. A pocket of unmixed baking soda can create a bitter, metallic-tasting bite, a culinary disaster we can easily avoid with a little care and a good whisk. Into your large mixing bowl, add your 250 grams of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1 teaspoon kosher salt. Now, take your whisk and spend a solid 30 seconds vigorously mixing these components together. You are essentially creating your own high-performance pancake mix from scratch. You should see no streaks of white from the different powders. The mixture should look homogeneous, a uniform, pale canvas ready for the next step. Why do we use both baking powder and baking soda? This is a classic belt and suspenders approach. Baking soda reacts with the acid in our buttermilk, creating an initial burst of bubbles. Baking powder, typically double-acting, gives more lift when heated. It creates some gas when wet, but releases the majority on the griddle. This 2-pronged attack ensures a powerful initial lift and continued rise for maximum fluffiness. Once your dry ingredients are perfectly blended, create a small well in the center with the back of your spoon or your spatula. This isn't just for show, it's a strategic maneuver. This well will act as a landing zone for our wet ingredients. By pouring the wet mixture into this crater, we incorporate from the inside out, minimizing mixing, the golden rule of tender pancakes. With our dry ingredients standing by, it's time to assemble the wet team. Moisture, fat, flavor, and the all-important acid. In your second medium-sized bowl, pour in your 2 cups of cool buttermilk. The tangy flavor and acidity are non-negotiable for this recipe. The acid is the dance partner for our baking soda, initiating the reaction the moment wet and dry meet. Next, crack your 2 large eggs directly into the buttermilk. Now, take up your whisk once more. This is the one time you are encouraged to whisk with vigor. Whisk until the mixture is uniform, no streaks remaining. This ensures the protein and fat from the eggs are evenly distributed, contributing to structure and richness. Now for the fat component, the melted butter. You should have melted 4 tablespoons and allowed it to cool slightly. This cooling step is critical. Too hot, and you risk scrambling the eggs, or the butter seizing into clumps instead of emulsifying. With your cooled, liquid butter, slowly drizzle it into the buttermilk egg mixture while whisking continuously. This creates a stable emulsion and ensures rich flavor throughout. Your wet team is now fully assembled. You should have a smooth, pale yellow, enriched liquid. Take a moment to appreciate it. Loaded with potential energy. Acid to activate baking soda, fat for tenderness, liquid to hydrate the flour, proteins for structure. It is the lifeblood of our pancake batter. The next step is the most critical and delicate part of the entire operation, combining the wet and the dry. Prepare for contact. This is the moment of truth. The next 60 seconds will determine whether you end up with fluffy, cloud-like pancakes or, well, tough rubbery frisbees. The enemy here is gluten. When flour gets wet, glutenin and gliadin link up to form gluten strands. A little provides structure. Too much is the death of tenderness. Hydrate the flour and combine with minimal agitation. This is why we're using a spatula, not a whisk. Pour the entire contents of the wet bowl into the dry well, all at once. Now, with your flexible spatula, begin to fold. Gentle, deliberate motion. Scrape from the bottom of the bowl, up the side. Fold the dry flour over the wet center. Quarter turn and repeat, until the last big streaks of dry flour disappear. The batter should look terrible. I am not kidding. Lumpy, bumpy, pretty unappealing. If your batter is smooth and silky like cake batter, you went too far. Overmixed. Those lumps are pockets of dry flour. That's okay. They will hydrate as the batter rests. Lumpy batter means you avoided overdeveloping gluten. Mixing should take 15 to 20 seconds. It will feel wrong. It will feel unfinished. Trust the science. Step away from the bowl. Your work here is done, for now. Now for the final secret weapon, the rest. Let it sit 10 to 20 minutes. Flour hydrates, leaveners create a network of bubbles, and gluten relaxes. Do not skip this step. While your batter is resting and developing its bubbly personality, it's time to prepare the cooking surface. Your choice of pan is important. A large, heavy-bottomed non-stick skillet, or a well-seasoned cast iron griddle. The key is even heat distribution. Thin pans develop hot spots that scorch and leave other areas pale and undercooked. Place your pan over medium-low heat. I repeat, medium-low. One of the most common mistakes is heat too high. Burnt outside, raw inside. Patience is a virtue. Preheat slowly for 3 to 5 minutes. Use the water test. If they sit and sizzle, it's not hot enough. If they vanish instantly, it's too hot. If they skitter and dance, that's the Leidenfrost effect. Perfect temperature. Once correct, grease lightly. You don't need a lot. Too much fries the edges. Wipe a micro-thin, even layer across the surface. Now, look at your batter. After 10 minutes, it should be thicker and dotted with bubbles. A beautiful sight. Give it one, and only one, gentle stir to reincorporate any separated liquid. Do not stir out the remaining lumps. The batter is primed and ready for the heat. It's time to cook. Steady heat, thin grease film, airy batter. You're set for success. This is where timing and observation matter most. Using a quarter cup measure or a small ladle, gently pour the batter onto your preheated, greased griddle. Don't crowd the pan. Leave at least 2 inches between pancakes. 3 per 12-inch skillet is usually the max. Once the batter hits the surface, resist the urge to nudge or spread it. Let it be. Watch closely. First, the edges begin to look dry and set. Second, bubbles form across the entire surface. The most critical sign, bubbles pop and do not fill back in. That means the structure can support the flip. Expect 2 to 3 minutes on the first side, depending on pan temperature. Slide your thin, wide spatula fully underneath in one swift, confident motion. A properly heated, lightly greased pan offers no resistance. Lift a few inches, flick the wrist, and turn it over. No high toss heroics, just a controlled rotation, landing flat. A perfectly cooked first side is even, beautiful golden brown. The second side cooks in about half the time. You won't get bubbling cues, rely on timing and a quick peek after 60 to 90 seconds. Once done, transfer to a plate. Repeat with the rest of the batter, giving the pan a quick light wipe between batches for consistency. Your stack is rising, literally and figuratively. One of the greatest joys of making pancakes from scratch is that it's an inherently communal activity. The kitchen becomes a hub of collaboration, simple enough for the youngest to participate. Turn breakfast into a team sport. Assign age-appropriate tasks and embrace the mess. Fun over flawless execution. Set them up with pre-measured dry ingredients. Let them dump and whisk. They can't overmix at this stage. Slightly older kids can crack eggs, measure buttermilk, whisk under supervision, and do the best job, pouring wet into the dry. Adults handle the hot griddle. Kids can be bubble spotters, shout flip, and run the topping station, mixer, bubble spotter, toppings arranger. The pancakes will taste all the better for the shared effort. Congratulations, your mission is complete. Before you stands a stack of golden, fluffy, impossibly light pancakes, a testament to your newfound understanding of culinary science. But the journey isn't quite over. A great pancake is a canvas, and the toppings are your paints. The classic is a pat of good quality butter melting into the warm top pancake, followed by a generous cascade of pure maple syrup. Iconic for a reason. Don't feel constrained by tradition. A toppings bar lets everyone celebrate their victory. Bowls of fresh berries, blueberries, sliced strawberries, raspberries, plus whipped cream, can or freshly made. Add crunch with toasted pecans, walnuts, or granola. A dusting of powdered sugar adds elegance, while chocolate or caramel sauce satisfies any sweet tooth. Now take that first bite. Notice the texture. Soft, almost cake-like, with a delicate crumb that melts in your mouth. It shouldn't be chewy or dense. That's your gentle mixing and patient resting at work. Notice the flavor. Rich from butter and eggs, with a slight tang from buttermilk balancing your toppings. Real ingredients, combined with care and technique. You did this. You, without a fancy mixer, created breakfast perfection. You've mastered a technique. Use it for weekend rituals, special occasions, or breakfast for dinner nights. Don't be afraid to experiment. A dash of cinnamon in the dry, a splash of vanilla in the wet. The principles remain the same. Go forth, be confident, and never settle for a flat pancake again.